Today we are going to be making the cinematic animation in DaVinci Fusion. And why am I talking like this? It really hurts the throat.
Yeah, it really does hurt the throat, actually. So yeah, today we are going to be making this cinematic animation in Fusion. Now, the font used in the animation was actually added in Resolve. I tried the impact font, but it made no impact. So I used the agency FB font instead. Now, speaking of impacts, last week I managed to drop my laptop, so I'm now using it as a doorstop. I also managed to burn my wig in a microwave, so all in all, very good week. If there's anyone out there who'd like to give me a new laptop, I would be forever grateful. For those of you who can't give me a new laptop, you can actually now buy me a coffee. I'll leave a link below the link. Did I mention you can download this project for absolutely free from my website? Just stay till the end and I'll show you how you can do that. And if you were wondering, yes, I did manage to make a new wig from a mop. Honestly, I don't think people will notice. Enough of the silliness, let's get into the tutorial. So here we are in DaVinci Fusion. First thing I'm going to do is drag in a background node and just connect it across like that. Now, all the 3D tools that we need sit here on this toolbar just here. So what I'm going to do is bring in a Merge 3D, another Merge 3D, and connect them across. Now, the reason I do that is because I like to keep all my objects on this one and my lights and cameras on that one. Speaking of lights and cameras, let's add a light, connect it in, and a camera as well. And to get this all out to our 2D world of DaVinci Resolve, we need to add this one here, which is called a render 3D. So we'll just connect that out like that, and then we'll take the output of that and put it into this background like that, and it automatically creates a merge for us. Now, to bring in our statue, we need to go up to the Fusion menu just here, and then go down to Import and FBX Scene just here. Then what you need to do is navigate to wherever you put the statue, double click on it again, double click on it again, and go down to this one here that says OBJ. Now, even though it's an OBJ, it will actually come in as an FBX. When you get to this window, if the camera is selected just here, untick it because we don't need it. We'll just hit OK on that, and we get a nice long list of nodes like so. So let's just connect that in. Just going to move those over there like that. Good housekeeping, click on this node just here, hit F2, and give it the name Angel so we know which object we're dealing with. Prevents grey hairs later. Right, as you can see, something's come up in this right hand window here. Let's just go to our camera. We're going to put that in the left hand window by clicking this dot just here. And if I move it using this blue arrow, what you'll see is it's actually in the same place as our statue. So let's just do Control middle mouse just to zoom out a little bit, and let's just pull that camera back. Now, our statue is probably a little bit too big, so I'm going to click on it, come over to the right hand side, and go down to size just here. I'm going to change that to 0.5, like that. Next thing I'm going to do, it's actually pointing in the wrong direction. So I'm going to go to the Y rotation just here and just rotate it round until it looks about right. Somewhere like that. Right, once we've done all of that, to keep everything clean, what we're going to do is select those nodes, right click on the first one and hit group. Then what we can do is click on that node and hit F2. We'll call it Angel. Right, now we need to bring in the pillow. It's the same process. Pillow? Pillow? No, it's the pillar. Right, now we need to bring in the pillar. So we're going to go up to Fusion and go down to Import, go to FBX Scene again, go to wherever you put the medieval pillar, click inside, go to source, and then exactly the same thing again, and let's just bring that in. We're going to bring this across to this side this time, and we're going to connect it in. Now, one thing I should have done on the statue, actually, I'm just going to move this out of the way like that. Let's just go to the front view by clicking here and going front view, just zoom out a little bit. You see this grey line here? We're going to use that as our floor, so I'm going to click on the statue, come across to the transform, and just raise it up on the translation. Hold the control key while you're doing it because it is quite sensitive. Take it up to about there like that. Now, when we look at our pillar, not pillow, If we look at our pillar, you'll see that it's come in, it looks strange and it's got no texture, but it's actually quite an easy fix. What we need to do is come to a blank area here, right click and go import media, go to your medieval pillar, go to textures this time and then just import that one like that. And what you can do is you can just drag it in and connect it across like that. And now we have a texture. Now I don't like the size, so what I'm going to do is click on the root node here. See here under scaling on the right hand side where it says XYZ. Let's untick that. I'm going to change it to 0.5, 0.8, 0.5. And I think that gives us a better look. It is actually on the line, so let's just move it in like that. Right, next thing we need to do is we need to make a load of those pillars. And in DaVinci Fusion, it's actually really easy to do. I'm going to go to the top view by clicking here. Let's just pull these over like that. Actually, let's group them together. So right click, group, F2, change the name. We're going to call it pillar and definitely not pillow. Then what we're going to do is we're going to click on this group, go shift space bar. We're looking for something called duplicate. Now it's this one here. There's a whole pile of them here. It's the duplicate 3D. So make sure you select that one. Now, when we go to the right hand side, you'll see it says that we've got two of them, but we're actually only showing one in the screen. And the reason for that is we need to offset it in the Z translation. So if I just move that Z, you can see one's come forward. I can have it go back like that. So let's go back about like that much. And then what we can do is increase that number to say 8. Watch what happens. Yes. Sorry, I got a bit excited there. But yeah, it creates a load of duplicates and makes our life far more easy. Now we also need to create pillars this side of the angel. So what we're going to do is cheat again. Click on this duplicate, shift space bar, and we're going to add another duplicate. This time we're actually going to offset it in the X. So let's do that. Holding the control key, we're going to bring it across like this, and you can see it in the left hand viewer. So we need it about 1, 2, 3 over. So 1, so somewhere about there. Look at that, very cool. Right, let's animate our camera this time. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our camera in the viewer. We're going to go to the right hand view. So click on the top here, right click and go down to right like that. Control middle mouse to zoom out. So what we want to do is go to this part here on your timeline. Let's type in 120. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the camera, we're going to move it right up to the face of the statue. Somewhere like that. Just going to pull it out a little bit. Let's go to the top view just to make sure. Yeah, that looks good to me. Right. With the camera selected, come over to the transform section just here and click a keyframe on all three of them like that. We're going to go right back to frame 0. You can use this arrow here to do that as well. And on the Z, what we can do is holding the control key, just push it back as far as you want it to go. And then what you can do is just lower it as well, like that. And then when we play that back, it comes right into our angel and slams in right there. Now we're going to rotate the camera. So what we should do is make sure we're on frame 120 and click a keyframe on all these rotation values here. Then go to here and type in 300. And then what we can do is pull the camera out across like that. And then we can rotate it on the Y. Hold the control key while you're doing it, because it is, like I say, a bit of a pain in the derriere to something like that. Actually, let's just move it back a bit. And we can also move it down a fraction as well, like that. You'll notice it's created all the keyframes. Let's go to the last frame by clicking this arrow just here. And then what we'll do is subtlety is our friend. So what we'll do is we'll just move it out a little bit. And again, rotate it on that Y like that. Oop, hit the translation. So rotate it on that Y like that. And we get a nice look somewhere about that. Now make sure your camera is selected. Come up to the top and hit spline like that. And go over to the left hand side, hit camera. And then come across to the right. And you see these two arrows here. Click on that, it says zoom to fit. And then it will just put it into the screen like that. Now our animation is looking very, very square. Not looking very soft at all. So what you can do is go down to this S here that says select all, select that, and then hit S on your keyboard and it will just smooth everything out. Right, let's play with some lighting. So I've got a spotlight just here. I'm going to bring that out like that and then just raise it up like that, right in front of the statue's head. Now, if I go to the right window, you see there's no real light happening there. And even if I go to the intensity of the light on the right-hand side and change that to 100, there's still no change to the lighting. And it's a simple reason. Let's just change that back. What we need to do, we need to go to the render 3D just here and change it from software renderer to hardware. Then what we need to do is go down and hit enable lighting, enable shadows like that. And we get this horrible look. The reason for that is, let's just double click on the angel. If we go to this one here, it's the one that has the diffuse, specular and transmission just here. Open up the specular and take the intensity down all the way to 0 like that, and you can actually increase the exponent, and then it gets rid of that shiny look on your statue. Let's go back to our spotlight. One thing I'm going to do actually is I'm going to go to the transform section of this spotlight, go down and hit use target. And now what it's done is it's targeted the statue. The only problem with it is the target pointer's at the bottom of the statue and we need it to be more the head. But that's an easy fix. All we need to do is go to the bottom of the transform. You see this target here. What you can do is you can rotate it up like so, like that. And now it's pointing at the head. Now currently we've got our light set to no decay, and what that means is if I move the light in and out, it doesn't actually get any brighter, it's always the same value. So what we're going to do is we're going to change that to linear like that, and we'll just take down the value to say 0.2, somewhere around there, and we get a look like this. Now rather than recreating the wheel, a good trick to do is right click on your spotlight, hit copy, blank area, right click and hit paste like that. Then what you can do is just connect it into this merge like that, and we now have two lights. On this second light, what I'm going to do is bring that up, and I'm actually going to bring it slightly behind our statue like that, just to create a bit of a rim light. And if I wanted to, I could actually increase the value of that to say 0.5 actually. Let's see what that looks like. That looks pretty good. On this first light, I think what I'm going to do is change the cone angle as well. Actually, let's pull it out. Increase its cone angle. So we've got a bit of the pillar in the back. And then let's just change its value up to 0.5 and see what that does. Bit too much. Take it down to 0.3. Looking very cool. Let's just go across our timeline. Yeah, I'm liking it. Let's just increase this light one more step just to see. We are there. Now all we need to do is add our embers, and that is super easy. What we do is give ourselves some space here. Go up to the top of the screen just here under effects, click that, and we're going to go down to templates, fusion, particles, and there's one called embers right there. So we're going to drag that in like that. Take the output of that and connect it into this merge like so. And look at that, we have embers. But they're not looking quite right. So let's do some fixes on that. Firstly, I don't like the color, so just double click on the group to open it up. We're going to go to the particle emitter. It comes in like this, so just open it up, and we're going to go to region, or style even. Let's go to style instead of region and get it right, Charles. Go to this color just here, click on it, and what we want to do is change it more to a grayish tone, somewhere like that. Let's take it down. Somewhere up like that. That's looking cool to me. You can see it looks far better already. Now what we need to do is change the emitter shape, which is this one here. The shape is a cylinder and it's actually quite small. The radius is only 1. So what we'll do is let's take that up to 3. Probably a bit too big, so let's take it down to 2. And that is done. That is so cool. And then when we play that back, you'll see the embers come in. Now the last thing we need to do is add some blur to that just to make it a bit more ethereal. So the way you do that is you click on the render 3D just here, go down, and you will see this effect here, accumulation effects. Just click on that and hit enable accumulation effects. And the first thing that you'll notice is everything goes crazy in the right hand side. So what you need to do is take the amount of depth of field blur down to 0.003. Let's see what that looks like. There we are. Let's take it down to 0.2. Very cool. Now we are finished, so let's have a look at that in the timeline. So that is looking really good. The next question is how did I add the speed ramping to it? Because if we right click on a Fusion composition, we don't have the controls to do that. Well, it's actually quite easy. What you need to do is click on your clip, right click and hit render in place. Find a place to render it, or just leave the defaults like this and then hit render. This window will come up just here. Just put it where you want it to be. Let it render. I'm going to come back to you after it's rendered because it might take a bit of time and show you what I did next. Right, so it's finished rendering. I brought over the music that I got from Pixabay to go underneath it. Looking pretty good, but let's add some speed ramps. What I've done also, these little sound bites here, we can put them below the speed ramps and they kind of add an extra effect to it. Anyway, right click on your clip, go up and hit real-time controls like that, and it comes up with this blue dotted window. What we can do is go here and go, let's just put the timeline over like that. We can now go here, click on this triangle just here and add a speed point like that. I can go forward to say here and add another speed point. Same thing again, just go to this triangle here, add a speed point. And you'll see it's got 123 here, 123 here. Normally it's 100, but I can go in and I can change the speed on that by right clicking and going down to change speed to say 400 like that. Now when I play that back, we get this. And now what I can do is move this sound effect across like this and watch what happens. Very cool. Now I did this a few times along the clip, and for the end of the video I cheated. I went up to the effects menu and brought in a blur dissolve and just dropped it in like that. Then what I did is I got my timeline, put it just here. With the video selected, make sure you're on video just here, put a keyframe here and here, go to the end of the clip or as near as you can, and then go here, keyframe, but change this value to something like 6. And now let's just pull the audio over so it gives it the effect. When we play back that, we get that. Let's do that again so you see what I mean. You can also edit those keyframes by clicking on the clip, come up to the top and hitting keyframes just here. Zoom in. The way you do that is click on this and then do that, and it brings you right in like that. And if you want to make it faster or smaller, what you can do is select those keyframes there and do that. And then when we play it back, we get this. Very cool. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Hope you learned something. If you've got any comments or questions, leave them below the video. I do love reading them. If you've got any ideas for future tutorials, please let me know as well. I'll leave this project on my website. You can download it for absolutely free of charge. All you need to do is go down, hit subscribe, get over to the website, put in your email address. Don't worry, I hate spam, so I won't be spamming you. You can download this project with all the files and use it for absolutely free of charge. So that's it really. I will see you in the next one.